So I'm going to put here, you said you know a lot of them, but yeah.
I know some of them more than others. So obviously I know what, when I say them, I mean their concerns, not other people. I know what concerns they've got and how they feel about it. Some obviously, because I need to look outside just how it's going to affect their life, because that really it has a big impact on some of them. I mean, some of them would just be quite happy to move to a different role, or whereas others don't want to change.
Right. So you have to get the goals and and what else?
They will all have a different goal. They'll all have a different motivation. For instance, if you live somewhere and you're going to be located further away, that will have an effect on them. So it's just letting them see that.
So find out.
We understand
what is acceptable for them and what's not acceptable, and I'm talking about the geographical.
Because it isn't just your job affects so much more, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We spoke about before.
It's not. So you mentioned the geographic and it could be different roles. Find out what is acceptable, what is not acceptable. What roles would be acceptable? What alternatives? Yeah. So look at the alternatives.
Yes. Yeah. What might happen. I mean, you can look at what may happen.
But you mentioned earlier about maybe some moving to a different role. So what alternative roles are acceptable?
Well, that's going to be out of my control, isn't it?
Well, yeah, the actual doing that, but it's knowing. Because this is all, you were talking about working with your team, and this is all part of getting to really find out what's acceptable. Yeah, so you did say about people moving roles, so finding out maybe what is acceptable. Because, and again, take my coaching hat off for a moment. I've worked through a lot of companies where they've merged and there's been redundancies. And I've worked with directors where they're terrified to talk to people with redundancy. Then we've actually talked to the teams, 50 to 60% of them are desperate for redundancy. Desperate. The opportunity to make a change that they've been waiting for. So it's finding out really what people want, using this as an opportunity to find out. So what people want. Person redundancy could be the worst thing could happen. For another person it could be the push that they've been waiting for to go and maybe look at something else. Yeah? So it's really getting as much information. So can I put here the options, your options that are as also to get as much information about each of your team member so that you can help them, you'll be able to take them through a coaching process to continue doing what they're doing and fit in with the changes in the way that's right for them. Yeah? Okay? Right, so let's just go through the options again. So, anything else with that?
No.
I think we've done quite a lot of sort of digging there. Okay, so the goal is to coach, to manage your team through change. And to coach your your managers, management officers, to continue achieving targets, remain focused and motivated throughout the change, and keep clear communication with your team. Yeah?
Yeah.
The present situation is that they are achieving targets. You've been leading this particular team for 12 months, although you've known the people in the team for 10 years. Now you've noticed there's a change in the team's morale, and you know who upsets whom, you know who's talking what, and so that means you know your people. Yeah. The change start of the change is the 1st of April, and that will be a new name, and it's 2 different companies are they're merging into one company. Part of this merger is your team and another team of 5 will merge into a team of 10. Okay? The options for you to really do this, to manage your team, because that's all you can control just now, because you're not sure at this point of time if you will be the person managing the team of 10, But also the point of this particular goal is to be able to prove to your superiors, I can do this. I can manage people through change. Yeah? So keep talking, and keep talking about the plans and ideas. Find out what each member feels about the change. Monthly one-to-ones, so next week you've got your monthly one-to-ones. Are these all on the same day, or?
No,
how long do these meetings last?
Some of them are only half an hour, others over an hour.
Okay. Okay. So monthly so it's next week you've got your monthly one-to-one meetings with your team. So talk about and focus your team on the opportunities. You want to be honest, keep them informed, and keep them informed honestly with the information they need to know, so it's factual. I'm going to put factual, because you were talking about rumours and the way rumours can do things. So you've already got, through this training here, you now have the GROW model. You have different options on how you can use the circle. Now you can use the circle for their role in their actual job. You can also use it, what was the one you said here?
Their concerns.
Concerns.
Yes.
So that already you've come up with a different way of using that particular model. So that's a coaching model that you can show to people. You've been through the coaching mergers and you know the benefits that can happen. So that's one of the things that actually can step into reality, but it's also an option, because one of the options, you can talk from a sense of being there. You're not kidding. Yeah? Each coaching session has to be tailored specifically for each individual. You've been through change. You've the experience the experience of coming through change. So you've come through change and you've come out the other side of change. There is life after change. So you want to make this is one option. Those are the options. Yes, there is life after change, and you need to keep motivated. This is what you said to yourself, and not bogged down with all the rumours and all the things that just get in the way, and get the goal and motivation. You've got to find out the goal and motivation of each team member. What's their goal and what motivates them? Also find out, as part of this change process, what's acceptable for them. What do they want? And get as much information as possible. So out of all these options, what is the very first thing that you're going to focus on? What specifically about each individual?
What their goal is, what their
Okay,
motivation is.
So where are you going to do that?
On their own.
Sorry?
But work on their own.
When?
Next week.
Okay, so it's the week beginning. What's the date for next week?
24th.
Sorry?
24th.
Week beginning 24th.
Wednesday.
Week 24th of March 2014. And what are you going to be doing?
One-to-one with them all.
1, 2, 1, what? I'll have a go at coaching.
I know I'm not a coach, but...
I'm not asking you to put the hat of a coach on. One-to-one coaching sessions. One-to-one coaching.
But also I'm going to discuss it with them first.
With what? Discuss what specifically?
Go in like inside. I want a coach.
No.
Just
Did we ask you to do that?
say
Or what?
no,
Right.
not to.
Right.
But see what their reaction is.
Stop. One of the things that, and again, this is me back into trainers. I put my trainer's hat. When you came up with that concern this morning, what did you get from the answer I gave you from the concern of going in as, how do you just start coaching?
Well, I knew that it wouldn't come well if after 3 days I just said I'm a coach, because...
But you're not a coach. You're not a coach.
Then I'm going to take away tools.
Coach, yes. Okay, so we're going to put one-to-one sessions using
Tools and techniques.
using coaching To do what specifically? Because you've got lots of, out of all these options, what's the intention of that first session you're going to have with them next week?
The intention is to find out, I mean, I do know a lot of their concerns, I want to look at it in more detail because it's...
Find out in detail what specifically?
What their concerns are, what they would accept and what they would find unacceptable.
Everyone's concerns. And what they would
what they would find acceptable, although we have no control about that, and what's unacceptable.
Right, so what is acceptable and what's unacceptable?
Be realistic with them.
Right, so just keep it very, very specific.
And establish
And establish
within the big goal. You know, look at the big picture.
Okay.
And find
and set help them, help
them.
each person set a goal for what?
Goal within the main, look at the big picture and find a personal goal for them.
Their personal goal. For what?
To help them through this change.
Okay. Now, that's what you're doing. Where are you going to do that?
It'll be in the meeting room.
Now, I just want you to, you said before that the meetings are different lengths of time, and some are just half an hour.
I would book the same length of time.
Okay, so how much time?
I normally book a couple of hours because sometimes it'll
Right,
run over
okay.
the hour.
Okay, so it's and it'll be starting then, and it'll be for 2 hours.
Up to,
So really giving each person the time to expand on, maybe they go shorter or longer, but giving them, they know they've got 2 hours. You said up to 2 hours.
if they need it longer, then
But what about someone's up to 2 hours? What can that do for someone who's up to 2 hours? Oh, don't need to take 2 hours.
they know from that I would book longer.
Okay.
And they know that they have the flexibility.
Can you sign this, please? And put today's date. 19 today?
Yeah.
2014. That's okay. That's you there already.
I know.
Okay.
Living in April.
So, we've now got your grow model. I just want to be very clear with you. So the goal is to manage your team through change, and specifically you're going to coach your individual management officers to continue achieving their targets and remain focused and motivated throughout the change, and keep a clear communication with them. This is your present situation overall, but from all the options you have picked here, you've identified the very first thing you have to do is to help each team member set a personal goal for getting them through the change. But a one-to-one sessions using your coaching tools and techniques and all the experience that you've ever had. You don't suddenly, because you've got new things, you're just introducing a couple of new ways to do it. It's using them and everything else to find out, really find out specifically what is everyone's what they're thinking, but more importantly, what's acceptable and what is not. You're going to be doing that in the meeting room in your office. It will be starting the week 21st of March, and it will be for around 2 hours. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.